Zlurpcast!
Apparently, we're being recorded. I wasn't asked my consent, but Biran did anyway. He's the producer. So you let him do his thing. Zlurpcast TV in the house. Thanks for watching. If this is not your first time, thanks for coming back. If it is your first time, why'd you pick this one to start with? That's weird. Did one of the things we're going to talk about in the subject line kind of catch your eye? It's kind of cool if that happens. We've got Xtreme Golf Rocker shirt, Mike and the Flan. I got a shirt you can buy. Oh, let's make these goblins good. What is that?
It's an anime.
All right, well, let's move on from that. You can get Zlurpcast.net to get yourself one of these. Guess what else they have?
Stickers.
Posters. They have a dice bag
Or a coin purse.
with your favorite gamer archetype on there.
I got to get that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a good one. It holds, whatever you want. I had dice in there. It's cool because, you go to a game store and if you're playing somebody and you just, usually either they're blank or it's like a gaming related, nerd related. This is going to like draw some eyes on it. What is that? Because it's black and white and sketches and it's going to be, and then I think naturally, I think the human eye gets drawn to the word fuck. Like when you see it written down on something. So like the first thing you see is fuck. Then it's like, oh, bald fuck. Okay. And then you're like, who are these other guys? And then like they look up.
And they can see examples.
Right. It's like, don't you know you've been here the whole time? And they're like, I can't believe this.
Is it continental?
Is it on both sides?
No.
That's Xtreme what?
On both sides?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. So
Yeah.
no matter what, they're going to get exposed to it. That's awesome.
Yeah, they'll get exposed. There's no back, there's no front. Grognard is on the top left, any way you slice it. So like this looks like remember Knights of the Dinner Table? I don't know if it's still around anymore, but
Oh, yeah. It is.
it reminds me of one of those guys.
The art style is similar across the board to that.
Yeah, well, I'm no artist, I'm terrible, but they all have like a thing to me. Like this looks like a Knights of the Dinner Table. This looks like Van Driesen from Beavis and Butthead, the hippie teacher.
Yep.
This looks like a fucking serial killer, but like it's got that like almost a. So if they recast Cape Fear and grab some like skinny little prick, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. This I don't even know what this is because this is like this has like Adult Swim kind of vibe to me. Like this guy's actually like a pinto bean and he just talks now. This is probably the most natural, like the most lifelike.
The most I could see that about 7 of those at Grognard's right now.
Yeah. It's probably the greatest thing I've accomplished in my life. So get yourself that. It's like $12, Zlurpcast.net. KwikHitz, TM, KwikHitz. I believe the only use of that in the entire World Wide Web is this, which is insane. That's insane. We own it. We own it.
SEO all over the place.
Yeah. That's right. So just search KwikHitz. That's all you're going to get. I think we're on volume 6 right now. Xtreme is supposed to keep track of what we talk about. Xtreme is the note taker, the record keeper, the
keeper of lore.
The keeper of lore. He's like the Adeptus Librarium, and he failed us.
He's more like a servo skull.
Now he is because we realized he's not the librarianum that we thought he was. He is who we thought he was. We do think he was what he thought he was. Yeah. So I found him. I went to the Zlurpcast YouTube channel, which you could as well, and saw what we talked about. But now, Xtreme, is this I don't want to say did you learn a lesson, but are you going to take this job more seriously now?
If I had put that in my spreadsheet, though, that column for title would end up being like a full page. You'd have to scroll to the right to see everything else.
Well, call me crazy, but another tab that just said quick hits wouldn't be out of the question.
Fair.
Call me crazy. So just throwing it out there. Because I actually wasn't sure what I've talked about before. Because
I'm sure I'm going to repeat. We're going to repeat these eventually.
Well, maybe, but now that we're actually having a discussion about roles and responsibilities, maybe we won't. But if you think about it, I don't know if you guys had the same issue when I think Mike, you brought up doing quick hits again. I couldn't remember, like I remember things I've talked about, but I don't remember if they fell under the quick hits header. I thought maybe like we had episodes where we talked about miscellaneous, like types of games or whatever. And then so I'm like, I know I've spoke of this at some point, but was it a quick hit? And it wasn't. So anyway, now we know. And knowing is at least 2/5 of the battle. So quick hits, we're each going to cover a topic. Could be a game, comic, toy, whatever. Something we're into. Talk about it. Give the old elevator pitch of sorts. There's no ratings. There's no points. Doesn't matter. But we're just going to talk about stuff. In my digging, by the way, I saw that Mike has covered Railroad Inc. several times. In several different
quit every time.
Several, it's like, this isn't my thing yet, but before we get to my thing, I got the new beach package of Railroad Inc. And it comes with sand. It's kind of cool. You roll the dice. So I like that. Like, I think you're getting a little kickback. I mean, the game's not expensive, but I don't know if you're getting like maybe like $1.25 for each one.
You get one of the 2 dice expansion packs.
Yeah,
you get something. So you get free
like
dice.
that? Is it like that Jimmy Kimmel bit where he always says, "Oh, we ran out of time. Sorry, Matt Damon."
Yeah.
The last funny thing Jimmy Kimmel ever done. But...
Why'd you have to like do that? I couldn't just like leave it as the line and you have to have one of your Biranisms at the end. It's like most people put a period at the end. You have to put a Biranism.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
One will be I hate Kevin Smith.
Yeah, right. Throw that in there. I vote for whatever.
I don't like Star Wars anymore.
Lena Dunham, whatever she doesn't like, I like, the huge. But anyway, what I was gonna say is that's a way Mike can get some free dice from there and also stealing from the NAF. That was,
yeah.
Just throw that in there. Doesn't matter. It's I believe a statute of limitations on this one now, even though you're still doing it, which is weird.
Yeah.
So who would like to go first and talk about things? Biran, you got a mouthful going on, so maybe I'll defer to Xtreme or Mike.
I can go.
Okay.
So I have stuffed Fables.
Stuffed Fables or Fables, depending on where you're from.
What are the age groups on that?
I don't know. I was going to get into that, but I don't know. What is it? Very young. It's from Plaid Hat Games. And I guess the more adult version of this would be Mice and Mystics. It uses a lot of the same mechanics. But this is a little different. This is mostly going to be for parents to play with their kids. But it's really cool. It comes with the rule book is actually what you play on too. So you turn to this page and this will be your game board. And this will be your scenario description and all the rules you need for this one.
Man, I glanced at that last word at the top there. And I saw something I was not supposed to see. Oh my God. It took me a second.
And then depending on the outcome of this, it'll tell you what page to flip to, and each one's a different map and different description.
Did that come bound like that, or did you do it?
No, it comes like that, so that way you can lay it flat and play on it.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
I'll tell you, that's one of those, regardless of the game itself, when we talk about components of games, like you guys probably do the same thing I do, like because we've seen a lot of garbage over the years, and like when you see something that's like just practical as fuck, like that's just smart, and you see something like that and you realize that falls under that category.
But it's basically the story of a young kid and their stuffed animals, which I don't know, I took that out of the bag. It's kind of like Toy Story-esque.
Wait, so was it nib before? Are you unnibbing?
No, this was our player pack that from.
Oh, you already okay. I just want to make sure. I didn't want to decrease the value there.
It's like a little stuffed elephant.
Okay.
But yeah, so the kids' toys are fighting off like the evil bad guy toys. So it'd be like from Sid and Toy Story.
Okay.
But each adventure, like you'll have some goal and you'll have to get to a certain thing, but it's all co-op and you work as a team. And it's like, I'd say one of the downsides from it being playable for just adults is that I don't think you can really fail anything. Like when you die, you run out of stuffing, but then on your turn, if you roll one of the white dice, because there's a big dice pool, then you can come back. So you never actually really die. And it's really hard to fail any of the scenarios as long as you're kind of working together as a team. But it works really well as a co-op because you can like share some of your resources at certain times. So you can help out somebody else when they need it. And it's a really cool game. It's a lot of fun, but it's really mostly for parents with kids.
You think, even if you and the boys, I mean, like your bros, you want to play a game, even if you're all into the kid-friendly theme, from a game perspective, you're saying it lends itself to the play till you win kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think if it were adults, you would probably want to look at Mice and Mystics more than this, but
Which on a theme is kind of kiddie too, but more complex.
Can you just say we have to beat it in an hour and just make it a timed game?
I mean, you could try, but it's also very cutesy. It's like when you get hit, you lose stuffing instead of anything else because you're stuffies. So I don't know. I think it's definitely geared towards one audience, and it really focuses on that audience, which is fine. I mean, there's not a whole lot of games that do that for parents with young kids.
I've seen Biran like maybe a week after Thanksgiving. He's still full of stuffing.
My favorite thing.
Yeah.
Part of the meal.
Just give me the stuffing.
Nope.
Like, just give me the helper. I don't want the hamburger. You know what I mean?
So it's just fine by itself.
Yeah, by itself. Sounds cool, Trey. Have you played this Xtreme?
I have. We played several times. We haven't played through the whole book because I think there's like 100 scenarios in the book.
Wow. That's a good value.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. And there is some replayability. You can go back and play the stuff, and it's not going to be as exciting as the first time, but it's still going to be interesting because you could try different things. And
so something you play more with your daughter than Alex, probably, or
yeah, for sure. For multiple reasons, but yeah. Alex isn't a great co-op kind of game.
He tries to win too much.
He's one of those people that'll take over the game.
He'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, sometimes you need a leader, though.
Sometimes.
Go play Pandemic if you want that shit.
We are playing it right now, Biran.
It is a long game.
Really long.
And people do tell you what to do.
They tell you what to do, and sometimes people flip the table over. They
Yeah.
just fed up. You just hope it's caught on camera. That's all. So, all right, Xtreme. Any questions from the peanut gallery?
Why have you not painted it yet?
Ooh,
That is a great question because the models are really cool and I'm interested in painting them, but I haven't painted crap in the last couple of years. So
I mean, if you're going to do 100 scenarios, you might as well paint.
yeah, I don't know.
Is the stuffed elephant OP?
They all have like one unique thing that they do, and you need that unique thing to work together in the team. So I don't think it's OP. You need it on your team. You need all of them on your team.
I think it'd be cool to paint them up, but like in a dark kind of vibe.
Yeah.
instead of the traditional.
Like Fascinated Freddy's kind of theme going that kids like that shit.
That'd be cool. I think Brian Harmon painted up his game. I think I saw some of his that were painted.
BCH, for those watching at home, longtime friend of the show. Once told his boss to fuck off so he can hang out on a live Zlurpcast recording. Part of the lore. I don't know if that ever happened or not, but that's what we said that night. So, Xtreme, could you show me, so it's the book and models. That's probably the bulk of it because the game is the book. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of cards that you flip through to do different things too. But for the most part, it's the book and the models. But you get like different weapons as you go along. Like this one's the jump rope. that helps you do things. And there, I think one of them was like a little red wagon that you needed to take you from one point of the map to another. So there's different like story elements that you have to hit and get those items.
So are they all like in the world, like an adult sized world and their kid sized toys roaming through? Is that kind of the theme they're going for?
Yep. Yeah. There's and there's like, it's supposed to be a story with different things that young kids can relate to. So like one of these
Buying weed.
Yeah, exactly. No, one of these scenarios is like getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom so you don't wet the bed and stuff like that.
I wouldn't relate to that because I just
Yeah.
went to bed when I was a kid.
It sounds like almost like are there like hidden like
So there's like, is there a monster under the bed if I get up to go pee type stuff? Got
Yeah. And stuff like that.
is there any like it's trying to prep you for real life things? You know, like it's teaching me that there is no monster, or is
Or
it
that in my adult life I'll get up 6 times at night to go pee.
right?
At the end of each scenario, there is like a thing that you can do where it's like asking questions of the kids that you're playing with to make sure that they're
Is this some kind of church game? That sounds like something a church would
It's
do.
not well either a church game or a post game talk.
Yeah.
it is very much like that educational post-game talk. Are you grasping everything we learned today?
All right,
But-
kids, don't pack up just yet. Let's talk about what we just went through together as a team.
Get out your workbooks.
Turn to page 26 in your workbooks.
We
Turn
always
to this
skip over
page in
that.
the Good News Bible.
I love to see like you press play on a tape and it says pause the tape to discuss with your
like
men-"
Video Clue. Yeah.
So pretty cool, Xtreme. Do you
I love the idea of the game board being on the center.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's very neat. And like, you don't need to, once you've learned the game, because the game's pretty basic. There's a big dice pool that you're working with and moving the dice around on your card. But once you've read that once, all you need is the rules for that scenario that are on that page opposite of the game board. So it's really cool.
this looks like a good travel game, right?
It could be. I mean, it's in the standard, what's that, like 12 by 12 or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, even in a box, I just mean like if you're, let's say you're, I don't know, somewhere for the weekend and the weather's not great, because everything's just right there on the board. So
Yeah, it's not going to take up much table space. Everybody has their own card. That's like a 3 by 5 card, and then you have the book. So,
sounds good. What does it sell for, roughly?
$29.99.
oh, really? Nice. Cheaper than I thought.
I
Oh.
just guessed.
He's guessing. He did not consult a scholarly resource by any means.
I think it's like a $50, $60 game. But there's a lot of models in it. There's a lot of bad
Oh,
guys.
yeah. What's it called again?
Stuffed Fables.
What's that?
Stuffed Fables.
Stuff Fables. $55.99 from Miniature Market.
Okay,
$70 retail.
it's not for the pores.
Have you gotten the expansions?
I didn't know there were expansions.
There is Oh Brother, the Oh Brother expansion for
Huh.
$40.
Guessing the kid has a baby brother and has to deal with changes in the household.
Okay.
So like maybe a new character, a big brother, and then Alex could play that and yell at the other kid and tell him what to do.
Maybe.
It's like, all right, now I can finally play the way I want to play.
Now that I'm in college, I know more than you.
But it's cool that like the kid in the game is just a story element. Like you play as the toys, you never play as the kid. And there's like a card deck because you want the kid to stay asleep through the whole thing. So you're like flipping these cards at different
I got
times.
the Ambien card.
There's different noises or whatever you make, and then if it wakes up, then you have to start this thing over again or something.
To
Because they have to
Biran's
like
point-
pretend they're dead, like in Toy Story when people see it.
Check it out. I wonder if it's this could also be, Biran, to your point of the like church game kind of vibe, like we have to play this quietly.
Mhm. They're studying the Bible upstairs. We have to keep our voices down.
Yeah, and they're sleeping because it was super exciting. So yeah. All right. Very nice. Anything else, Xtreme?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, for the audience that is directed for, is a really good game. Outside of that audience, it probably isn't.
So maybe rent a windowless van and pull up to a playground and see if kids want to come in and play.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to play this game of this group?
That
That
guy
guy?
would be the one in the windowless van. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely that guy. Maybe Fedora guy.
Yeah.
Alright. Very cool. Mike, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
My game is Godtear. Okay. I've been playing this with Ryan. And
Friend of the show.
what?
Friend of the show.
Yes, friend of the show. Been on the show. It's a hex-based MOBA style game. I have discovered that I really like those. The basic premise is you have 3 heroes, and the heroes themselves all have special abilities, and there's different classes. And your goal is basically to get this god tier energy. There were these gods, they died, their tiers came down, and now there's this energy. So there's 4 different classes. There's the slayers who specialize in killing other heroes. There are the shapers who specialize in basically claiming god tier energy. There are the guardians who specialize in I don't know, basically just keeping that god tier energy. And there's the maelstroms who specialize in killing the followers. So each hero's got a unique ability, and they've got unique followers, and it's got some really interesting mechanics because each round is broken down into 2 phases. There's what's called, the first phase is called the plot phase. And if you have initiative, you activate all of your heroes and your minions. Usually it's 3 heroes, so you got 6 activations. So you do all that, and that's mostly moving and doing shenanigans, but not really attacking. Then your opponent will do their plot phase. Then we start the clash phase, and then each hero or unit of followers takes 1 activation. That's usually when you end up attacking and hopefully killing other models. So that's kind of interesting. Also, I like how the scoring works. It's like Dreadball, where it's a relative score. So if I do something, I get 4 points. I move it 4 towards me. Then if you kill one of my heroes, you get 5 points because the Slayer did it. So you move it up 5. And at the end of the round, whoever wins that round gets the victory points for that round. But each round has a different amount of victory points. So the first round has 1 point, second round has 2, the third has 3, the fourth has 2, and the fifth has 1. And you win the game if you get 5 victory points. So if you win the second and third round, you automatically win. If you win the first and the third, you got to go another round. And if your other opponent wins the 4th round, then you got to go to the 5th round. So I thought that scoring was also really neat.
Yeah. Well, it's almost you can kind of give away the first turn if you want to, right?
I have discovered that I've lost every game when I've won the first turn.
Okay, there you go.
So I think I need to give up that first turn, but
like it's better to put yourself in the right position to win rounds.
yeah, because you get the initiative. Whoever loses that round, frequently they get to do stuff to the board, like change the board a little bit, and sometimes it's better to get that on the beginning of round 2. It gives you the advantage, you get more points, and then you go from there. So
all right.
At least that's been my experience. We're still learning. Ryan and I are still learning the game. We're still learning the abilities of all the players involved and whatnot.
Similar to Judgment or no?
It's similar. I think it's going to be similar to the new Judgment because it's on hexes and everything like that. It does have the follower mechanic too. So like this right here, this is one of the dwarves. This is they're also color coded, so each class has a color. But and then this is
That guy looks like he was carved out of a push pop.
well, this is a female, but yeah. And then
sorry, I saw boobs. That was a guy.
yeah. So yeah, that's the follower. So again, they're slightly different scale.
Brian, what color?
Sometimes they
is
have big followers. Like this is Styx right here.
Brian, what color is that?
It's brown. Yeah. And yeah, so depending upon, sometimes they have different numbers of followers. But again, each one's got really unique abilities, and you can have synergies that, work with different things. I just really enjoy these type of games. So there's 2 starter sets. This right here is 1 starter set. The starter set runs about $50. It comes with the board, the tokens, the dice, and 2 characters and their followers. So there's 2 starter sets, so that if you have both of them, you get all 1 character of each of the 4 classes, and then you can buy other expansion packs that have the hero and the followers with them.
So it's a hero and two minions.
Well, depends. Some of them have up to 5 minions if the minions are weaker. Some of them have
Lich
large
Queen has
followers.
Morgan, the Lich King has 5, whereas Naya, the Crystalmancer, has 3.
There's 3, yes. And Luella here has 3 as well. Styx has 2. They're called large followers. So you're actually worth more points if you kill them, but they have more hit points.
So when you play a leader, that's what you get. You just get that leader and their followers, and that's what you're playing.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no mix and match nonsense going on.
Okay.
No. Yes. No. But you can mix it. You have up to 3 characters, up to 3 squads or characters, however you want to think about it.
Each faction has up to 3 characters to play, and those have their various minions that go with them. Right.
Well, there's 4 different classes, and each class has about 5 different characters that you can choose from. So there's, what is that? That's 20 something, 25 different characters.
So when you play a game, you control more than 1 hero?
Yeah, you control 3.
Okay, so 3 heroes and their minions, and that's
associated minions. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And,
I misinterpreted that part. Okay.
Yeah. And Ryan and I have been playing, so we're just playing characters we've never played before. So just to get a feel for what they all do. So we still haven't played all of them yet, but
pretty much a one-on-one game.
Yeah, it's a 2-player game. There's no way to play it more than 2 players. So,
okay,
but it's been fun. We laugh at it says 45 minutes to an hour, and Ryan and I have never played a game in less than 2.5 hours. But that's because we think a lot.
Well, and you guys are like super slow at games, so I wonder if it's just more of a.
Well, when I played a demo with him about a year ago, we only played with like 1 character just to kind of show, and it was kind of dumb just because it was just 1 character. But once we got the 3 of them there and all the different activations, it was like, oh, there's a lot of, you got to think several moves in advance. And I have a tendency to block myself. I move a character here and then I can't, because you can't move through your guys. And it's like, oh crap. So,
well, because that all happened in the other phase, right?
Yeah. Well, you can move in both phases, but what I want to do, and sometimes because you also get like buffs, and they're called blights. It's negatives to all that. It also has the classic like Monster Apocalypse, where it's got the special dice. It has 2 blank faces, and then 3 of them with 1 pip, and then 1 of them with 2 pips, and you do that for attacking and damage and all of that. So. Again, it's not quite as swingy as a real D6, but Ryan and I have both had, you roll like 9 pips to hit, and then you just, then you roll damage, you get all blanks. And so, yeah.
Would you paint these models or no?
I will not. That's again another rule, because I have them, they come in each like one of these guys comes in a faction box that's like this big. And it's kind of like it's about twice the size of Song of Ice and Fire. And we were, Ryan has got that giant IKEA bag, and we were bringing them all to the store. And it was just a pain in the ass. So what I did is put them all in Ziploc bags and threw the boxes away. And because they're stored like that, I'm not going to paint them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, there's a decent amount of detail on these things.
It's hard to tell with the visual, but it looks like they're pretty detailed. Almost like how the newer, like that brand new Descent that's just came out. Like it's real. They're really good. They're like Games Workshop level from maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, which is still like extremely good. So.
Yeah.
And this game was made by the same people that did Guild Ball, right?
Yeah, it's Steam Forged. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the plastic Guild Ball models that came out that are
Yeah.
pretty good. Not as good as like the metal or resin ones in detail, but still pretty damn good.
And for $30, yeah, it's good.
As Starbucks
The-
said, the
again,
starters
the-
are $42.99. That's the Biran price.
they're about $50 retail. So yeah. So all you really need is a starter and one other box, and you've got 3 characters, and you can play with that. And you get all the.
You also need a mate as well.
Oh yeah, you need a mate. Yeah.
You know, these games don't. I mean,
I'm still not sure about that.
who is that?
That was Siri butting in.
Wow. Okay.
He's a friend of
so-
the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the show. So it's like a pretty cool game. Like one of those games you get into or side game.
I mean, once you're getting into it is just like looking at the different synergies that you could possibly and some of the shenanigans, but it's not like there's no list build or anything like that. It's just like I'm going to play this character, this character, and this character, and that's it. So
Like, seems like the kind of game that would be there would be like a really competitive crowd for at cons.
oh yeah,
I was
yeah,
thinking that too.
yeah.
Could you, in theory,
it's
carry
like Judgment that way too.
Could you carry multiple forces and a big pair of cargo pants to a con?
Oh yeah.
Are there cards or is it just the guys?
Oh, there's cards. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
so-
got this neat mechanic too that how you can mark your if they've activated or not, because the cards are double-sided.
oh,
So
you
at the
flip
beginning
it.
of the plot phase, you have the plot side up because you have different abilities in different phases. And then when you activate it, you flip it over. And so that's how you can tell what you've activated, what you haven't. So
you could, in theory, put those cards in those Ziplocs with your guys.
I could, yeah. I've just got them all.
Is
in a
there
big-
is there deck building or the cards are the cards you get?
No, the cards are the cards. That's it. So again, I got all my cards in one of these. So it works. So
Did you-
anyways,
how
I
many
really
Dead
enjoy it.
Zone-
Right now-
How many Dead Zone cards did you throw out of that box to make room for your Godtear cards?
Yeah.
Those are very very useful cards from Dead Zone version 1.
Oh yes. They're back on all of my Song of Ice and Fire cards until the new decks come out. So
There you go.
whenever that happens. But yeah, like I said, Ryan, I've been playing a lot, pretty much once a week. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. Biran, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go ahead and get done. I know I've been harping on the omnibus, but from Mike's recommendation, I've been reading the Jeff Johns Flash. This is volume 1. It's starting to get going. It started out with a lot of single standalone stuff going on, but now I'm getting into his Rogues Gallery, and there was an awesome, amazing illustrated issue with Gorilla Grodd in it that I just stared at the artwork and all because he basically wrecked Keystone City. So that was really good. So definitely all the Jeff Johns stuff I recommend, but I'm really enjoying Flash of late. But my real one, and it's kind of hard to show, but I've been playing Far Cry 6 on Xbox.
Is that Giancarlo Esposito?
It
Yes.
sure is. It sure is. And he's awesome in it. He plays Fidel Castro. It takes place in not Cuba. They last year, the last one was Far Cry 6, took place in Montana. And it was interesting because Ubisoft is French Canadian developers. And everyone was excited because it was going to, display right-wing nut jobs, which it did. But you were also a right-wing nut job. You were just of a different faction and you were the good guy. So I appreciated the balanced approach of not all right-wing nut jobs are bad. Some are bad and some are worse. You get to play just a bad one.
It's like in wrestling, heel on heel.
Right. Or every XCW match is heel.
Sure.
So this one takes place in not Cuba, and it's got all the hallmarks of Cuba where you got like the old 1957 Chevys powered by lawnmower engines. And all your weapons are kind of cobbled together. So you'll have a assault rifle, but it'll have a silencer that's made out of an old oil can and all this found sort of equipment. And you're strapping weapons on your jet ski, and that's your so it's an open world game. Lots of busy work of taking over checkpoints and bases and things like that, but really good story, really good voice acting, because the main bad guys in it is fantastic.
How's the side quests?
I enjoy those a lot because sometimes I just want to play for like a half hour and I'm like, I'll go take over a couple bases, or and you get they call them amigos, obviously, are your little helper animals. And my current one is a paralyzed from the back legs paralyzed dachshund with a little wheelchair, and you use him to distract the guards because he wheels up to them and they go, "Oh, how cute!" And then you sneak behind him and you hit him with your machete. So,
Is that like in the game, or is that some like mod you added to it?
no, that's in the game.
Okay.
You also have an attack alligator, who's a lot of fun. The last game, the one that took place in Montana, you had a grizzly bear friend whose name was Cheeseburger, and he was diabetic.
Oh wow.
So weird, but like well crafted. I'm not one for social commentary in games because it's usually social commentary against people like me. But this one kind of does a nice balance of it, so I really appreciate it. Where it's like we're part of the revolution, but we don't like these revolutionaries because they took it too far, but we won't. And they kind of admit like, yeah, if we win, we'll probably end up just like him eventually. So it's very interesting. It's a good game. Just came out last week or 2 weeks ago.
What is that on Xbox?
Yeah, Xbox and PS4/PS5. Not unfortunately Switch because it can't really handle it.
PC as well, though?
Yes.
Okay. Do you play online MMO or no?
You can play co-op. So, and there's a lot of specific like raids where you take over these big bases co-op. I accidentally did one solo and I managed to finish it, but I was cussing and swearing the whole time.
In the game or in real life?
Both. In real life, she cusses a lot. You could play a guy or a girl. I'm playing a girl. And they do this when you go to one of your home bases, it enters a third person mode, usually first person shooter mode, but they do third person mode. So you're motivated to get new outfits for your character. So you get like a chest piece and crazy headgear. Like a lot of times the armor is baseball inspired because it's the national pastime, hint, not Cuba, hint.
So do you kind of like, you get baseball jerseys based on color, like in real life, you kind of,
Yeah, and when one of the healing mechanics is you light up a cigar and burn your wound, cauterize the wound with the cigar, and you're burning tobacco plantations.
Oh. So obviously it's for kids, much like Xtreme's game.
Yes, it's same market, same audience for sure.
Yeah, Xtreme. Did your game talk about like using a cigar to cauterize your own wounds? I don't remember.
We haven't gotten to that mission yet. I don't know if it's in there. I mean,
It
there's
might
a
be
lot.
in
other
Oh Brother.
missions, it's got to come up. Like, and it gets really graphic. Like that's one of the healing animation. Another one is your fingers doing the Shannon Sharp. I don't know if you've seen his fingers before, but you just go crack and put it back in. Very gory, but fun.
All right.
Tongue in cheek, but with a message.
Well, just like Grand Theft Auto.
Yes. We will never see a Grand Theft Auto 6 because Grand Theft Auto 5 is in the top 10 every month since it came out.
You'll never see a 6? No, there will be.
Why bother when they keep buying 5?
It's an infinite franchise.
Yeah.
I guess. Very cool. So anything else, Biran? Go get this.
Also for my shipment, my Taylor Mitchell recommendation shipments came in. Monster in Gideon Falls.
Okay.
So I have to finish off at least one of my omnibuses. That's my deal before I'll start one of these new ones.
I know. I also bought Monsters. Did Mike or Johnny? Did you guys buy it?
I did not get that one. No.
No.
They got Black Hammer.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Black Hammer's good.
because I'm not a monster, I did take this. This is, but yeah, I like it a lot. So same guy did this as Gideon Falls, correct?
Yeah.
Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, he's done tons of stuff.
Might look into it sometime.
But Monster is Barry Windsor Smith, and I also got that other one, Thug, not Thug, Goon.
Goon.
Oh, Goon, yeah.
I picked that up at the non-ghetto comic store in Rockford, Illinois.
Is that like
You got Red Room too, didn't you?
Oh, I have the singles for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered the trade for Red Room. Just I didn't want to try to find singles.
I'm this close to ditching my singles just to sick of it.
It's a weird thing to, it's like, how much do you want to, so Mike, you're reading digitally, so not an issue, but if you're trying to get them, it's just frustrating when you realize you missed out on something.
Or you read so many that when the next issue comes out, you forgot what happened. I bought Green Lantern 6 twice because I didn't know I had it, and I read it and I didn't even remember reading it.
There's depending on how much stuff you have, that that website, that League of Comic Geeks, actually has an inventory section too. If you were to, which for individual comics you can do it, but at least for trades though, you could, probably
Yeah,
easily,
trades it could get, because there's so many, you could accidentally buy stuff, so that's good.
yeah, you can categorize those. They have it set up where you can put like what printing it was. Like, all right, I don't give a shit. At that point, I don't care.
On a trade, no.
Right. Yeah, but you can, it's kind of cool stuff in there, but all right.
I used to have a video
over-
game inventory software that actually scanned all the barcodes in my games
Oh, wow.
when I cared that much. Now I just buy it digitally because I can't be bothered.
Right. Oh, it's convenient that way. And sometimes it's cheaper.
Yeah.
No?
Well, it depends. It's always better to get like sports games a year later in physical form because they go for $10 as opposed to 40 or 50.
Oh, yeah, because they're already at a store.
Yeah.
Sitting. Yeah. Whereas, the last year's Madden online still might be $40.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. For my topic, it is an actual game, not a game you can buy though. It is a game that I can't buy it, so don't even ask. Like if you ask me what band that is, don't worry about it. You've never heard of them, so don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a game called Warmonger that my brother and his friend created. And I figured, why not talk about it? Because maybe when this issue goes, or this episode goes up, I'll share it on Zlurpcast Discussion, our Facebook group. And maybe you'll be like, oh man, everyone's asking about it. I better, or it might just be like, oh, whatever, who gives a shit, but kind of fun. I like to, when people I know create something, I like to just give things a try. I think it's cool that, we did Death Path and whatever, but it's just, there's something about, because there's so many games out there, so many comics out there, so many everything out there, YouTube channel, podcast, there's too much stuff. So when I hear about something from somebody I know, that's like, well, I like to talk about that. Basically, I'm going to give you kind of the overview of it. And if it's something you think sounds cool, then maybe Dean, my brother, will maybe share some info. I just got these in the mail yesterday, mail call, nib. I don't know, I wasn't looking for them, but I was looking for these Command Land Raiders, and the guy had them, and I think they were $6.15 each.
That's not bad.
Retail was $9 back in who knows how long ago, 98 probably.
Because those stuff still like at auctions, you see them come up and they go for good money.
Yeah.
And I also got from Noble Knight had these primed Ogrens. So it was like eight bases of those that I'm going to use in the game as a heavy infantry. But basically, it is a game that is a war game epic scale. So 6mm or close enough. You can probably squeeze in some little bit bigger. I've seen some drop zone stuff can get squeezed in a little bit. Some of it might look totally off, but it's a close enough kind of game, model agnostic, if you will. And so this device here that I made, this one, I realize it's not as good as the one Dean has because his is off of a the roller part of a hanger because you're like spinning it. I'm like, oh, I should have used one of those, but essentially I think it's 18x6, but this is your measuring widget for everything. So your squads either move a full T, this part, or a half T, and then they're all going to be in coherency. If you're looking above, they're all going to have to be touching this. So you want to spread them out to help with blasts and things like that, but all within this. Here, this is probably better. So they're all within that in your squad there. And then your range is generally going to be this. Some things like artillery can shoot the whole board length, but that's it. So super easy to move, coherency, and range of your weapons. And basically it is kind of set up in a way where we're going to play essentially mirror armies of each other. So then you don't have to worry about points and army building. If you take I think he calls it like an Alpha Legion, but basically this is like your core. In 40K, it'd be like if we brought a battalion, but it was the same stuff. So Biran, you and I are playing 40K. We both bring 3 units of Primaris Marines, 1 land, and like the same thing essentially. So you were going to be getting a 3 units of troops. And so in this game, when you have a transport, they go with one base. I think at Real Epic, it was 2 bases, much like 40K. And the thought would be, one, more model economy, but also we used to always joke about how do all those guys fit in that vehicle? How do the 10 Space Marines fit in a or in a Rhino or whatever? So 1 base, 1 transport, they can come in together, they can be deployed later on. They're always in base contact once they come out. Once they come out, their move, I believe, goes to a half a T, whereas if they're in the transport, they can go the full distance here. But if you kill the transport, the unit inside dies. Once they're deployed, then the transport dies first, then the unit dies. So it's almost like a wound, you take away first. So you're going to have 3 units of 6 troops, all with transports. And transports would either be some type of APC, use whatever you want, use whatever models you want, Rhinos, whatever. They come in on drop pods. So after turn 3, 4, and 5 in the game, throughout the game there, or they come in on like a air support. And that would be 2 bases in each one, like a gunship kind of thing. You also have 2 elites that could come in the same method. So 2 bases of those. You're gonna have 1 HQ in a transport, or you could put him in like a mega armor type suit, almost like a dreadnought kind of thing. It becomes your HQ. You're gonna have a unit of 6 tanks. You're gonna have 3 artillery units. So I usually end up using like basilisks type thing, that kind of size. You're gonna have 4 walkers, so like sentinels or war walkers or dreadnoughts or whatever. 4 recon, like 4 bikes. Those are on individual bases. And I'm trying to think what else. I believe that's it for the bit. So then he's got a huge list of other things. But the idea was, let's find a way to use these models in an easy to use game. And so there are the basic stats in the game are your movements and your range. And then I told them to call it like a name. How like I use the Wild West Exodus as an example. They call it grit, where like grit's like the everything stat. He has a stat where it is the number you roll to hits, and also it's your save as well. So if you are good, you have a 2 or a 3. If you're not so good, you might have a 5 or a 6 for both. So as I call that a cool name, like power level or badass level, whatever. But that's your kind of like, that's your number, that's your power rating, what you roll for them. But then each unit has a spec op rule, and that's basically their unit special ability. So the troops, I believe, have one where it is allows you to overrun. If you're in close combat, I believe you're rolling 2 dice for either one. Your HQ can give a +1 to hits. Your tanks, if they're stationary, I believe, get a +1 to hits. I should probably completely forgot. The game is called Warmonger, so you actually have a Titan level thing as part of your core force too. So that's got a bunch of wounds, and that one, I believe, it remains stationary, can fire double, or it can shoot like blast instead of other things. You also have a War Machine. That's sort of like a Bane Blade kind of level there. That's got more wounds as well. That's got some abilities that go with that. He's got an Assault Monger. I kind of use like a Knight kind of level for that one. So if the Assault Monger is Knight level and the Warmonger is like Warhound Titan level, then you can also have a Mega Monger, which is like a Reaver Titan size, probably like this big. The new Adeptus Titanicus stuff looks awesome with it too. But got a few different missions. You got a basic one that is just kill the other Warmonger. You have ones that are more take and hold. But it was a great way to use all of these super small scale to have a full army out there that can all fit in essentially one bag, one tackle box, whatever, and you can put it right out there, play a whole game. He's got cards as well. You're going to be using those cards and then redrawing new ones. Some of them are just, artillery strikes coming in or all these other things that can happen. But it's a fun game to play a mission, probably about an hour and a half, and allows you to play. If you don't want to play with the real epic rules, it's a fun way to do that. So I will, any questions before I mention trying to maybe lure Dean into sharing them if he is ready for that?
What's the table size?
We played on a 4x4. That first turn, you're so far away. The only thing that's really shooting is, I believe, like artillery units because they have the full table range. So we played in a 4x4, and those first 2 turns were very much just get in position because we didn't start getting in range till turn 3.
So like the Warmonger on your force is like your main piece. You said there was one mission where the goal was just to kill the other Warmonger.
Yeah, that was the one I played with Dean a few weeks ago, and we both dropped in 1 unit of drop podded infantry right near the monger, so they can kind of attach themselves to it, get close, get those extra attacks. Yeah, that was the whole mission on that one, and he had a couple of good strikes in there. If it didn't happen that turn, I would have got his in the next turn. That's a fun one that just kind of just could go anywhere. I like the other missions better because they're a little more, more tactics involved, more model usage involved. I mean, you're still using all the other ones, but since that mission was so focused on the Warmonger itself, let me see if I can let me grab, actually, here we go. We'll do a little show and tell because I believe I have the rules. The rules consist literally of 3 pages, and the 3rd page is just a list of the cards in the game. So it's so here is my Mega Monger. Here is my Warmonger. And I've got, so I'm using some, I believe the guy I bought these from, I believe it's kind of a big thing now. Etsy has a bunch, but people are 3D printing epic armies based off of scaled down 40K models. So I have a Mordian Iron Guard army, and it looks awesome. And I don't remember ever seeing those in the old epic plastics that were out back in the day. They had like Valhallans, I think they had maybe Cadians, but so I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, probably not, but maybe. They look great though. I think they're all resin. I had a couple things break there. I've got these gunships here, got those on bases that will bring in troops as well. You've got, so here are some of my tanks. So I've got 6 of these Lehman Russes here. I've got, I use, and also like the way I look at it too, like these are actually like Imperial Guard Hellhounds, like flamethrowers. I end up just using these as transports for maybe like a specialized unit kind of thing. So it's kind of a very much a, like we always joke with like WYSIWYG, that's WYSIWYG close enough, kind of a put some effort. It's kind of like that, where you're using things pretty much how it's intended, but yeah, if you think it fits, it probably fits as well. Here is, without showing too much for copyright reasons, but you have your unit name there, your quantity, your move, your save and all that, and kind of their special ability over here, what they do. And so you have like engineers, which are one unit of 2 of them with transports. They have field repair, models and base contact, and attempt to repair vehicles, remove run damage on a 4+. Heavy infantry, I'm going to use those Ogrens as that. They go full auto. Enemy hits are -2 to their save. Comes with the vehicle transport, no drop pods for them. Commandos, they can infiltrate anywhere at any time, and they have the sniper ability, can shoot any model at the TR range, which is the full range, the full T range there, -1 save. And then this other sheet here had the some missions here. So he's got 6 of them, because ideally you can roll off if you choose. Giant Killer, first player to destroy the enemy Warmonger wins. The Relic, got a Relic template in the center at the end of turn 8. Army with the most hit points remaining in this area wins. Any and all units not deployed by turn 3 are lost. Key Bearer, the Key Bearer starts in the center, offers a +1 save. First to bring it off their own drop zone edge wins. It's got some restrictions on who you can take there. Infantry Assault, each side gets a command base to set up in their deployment zone. Exodus, there's a gate in the center of the board. Models touching the gate leave the game and score 1 point for each saved units. And then, so he's got some different missions there, but it is a blast. And it's a great way to use epic models, which I love, but I was never super big into the epic rules. They're easier than a lot of other battle games, like the real epic rules, but they still never really were for me, because I wanted to play them as a side game, and it was still a little too intense at times to play the original epic. So I had armies, but I never really got into the game. This one is a way to use epic size models, you know, and have a lot of fun with it.
How did I might have missed this. How did the initiative work? Like, did you move your entire force and then your opponent does, or is it?
Yeah, it is full side, much like traditional old war game 40K. Yeah, so it is. I told him about the Age of Sigmar, the rolling off. He's like, that's kind of cool. It's, you know, obviously changes everything, but yeah, it is pretty much a full on you go, I go kind of, you know. But there is, because there's saves, and you know, we always joked about, you know, the 40K with all these dice and nothing ever happens. You're really only rolling, you know, a die for each unit in your, or for each model in your unit. So in the case of infantry, you have 6. I believe if you have the infantry and the APC with them, it's 12. Yeah, you're rolling for one for each. But like your tanks, there's 6 of them. Your artillery, there's only 3. So you're only rolling 3 dice, and you're rolling for their, you know, based on their score that they need to. It's the everything. It's the hit and the wounds, what you need, and then that's the damage or the save on the other side. So it's really just a roll and a save, but not piles of dice. I only brought 6 dice. That's, I mean, unless I think it was for infantry I was doing, so I maybe rolled them a second time, but it's not buckets of dice, which is nice. And things do die quick. Most things have 1 wound. You just pull them off when they die. So I believe Dean and his buddy Vince came up with it because they wanted to play Epic, and they had a bunch of models, like, you know, a bunch of armies from Imperials to Orcs to Eldar, Tyranid, and great way to utilize those. You just find their sort of counterpart on the list there that kind of matches up, and there you go. You're all set.
That's cool.
And a homemade widget. So he measured, when I got there, he was like, let me see that. He's like, you're about 2 millimeters off. I was like, because I measured it, what he told me, but he was using the thicker, like, I think it's like a hanger, you know, like the dry cleaner hangers with the, I'm like, oh, well, that would push this out further if that was really that. I asked him for the length. I didn't ask for the circumference.
Girth. You didn't ask for the girth.
I didn't ask for the girth.
Yeah.
That apparently girth is a big deal to some. Makes me feel full. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So cool. So that's Warmonger. It is a fun epic game that someone invented. That, and I'll just say this: if you're watching this and you're like, "Well, I could do that," maybe you can. That's the fun of playing games. Like, you know, you've seen some of these rule books that come with games, and it's exhausting at times. And just fucking make your own. Why not? Take what you want from those, trim it down, and you know, if you make it from scratch, that you have something. But otherwise, I mean, I think in general, I don't know about you guys, but I think people underestimate how fun house ruling things could be, because they worry about what will other people think. And I never think about that because I don't care. I'll tell you what I'm coming up with. If you want to play by it, cool. If you don't, that's fine. We'll either play a traditional game or not play that at all. But if I found what I think is a more fun way to play, like kind of like we were playing Rumble Slam, I'm like, I don't like the game as is. I want to make my own. So I made my own Rumble Slam. I'm like, it's still too convoluted. I'll just make my own rules. I think that's cool, and I think that's fun to, I don't know, people underestimate it. You know, it's like, especially with games, I get it that if, you know, maybe something else creative, like writing your own comic, or those are very complex. I'd rather just read someone else's. Of course, we all would. But when it comes to a game, I'm literally saying I want to make it easier to play. And so, Xtreme, you've done that with some stuff before. You've, you know, from Wild West themed games, like you just realize, yeah, I kind of like a little bit of this, kind of like a little bit of that, but just DIY.
It limits the number of people you can play. It's not as easy to walk into a game store and get a game, but if you can have, you know, 2, 3 friends that like your game, then you're set.
Hey, you know what else limits people play games? The people that play games. Xtreme smiling face when he walks in a game store. Boom, they just leave. They're gone. So you've already lost before you've begun. I say if you bring your own rules, at least you have something to talk about. You got a sales pitch. I'll stick around for a sales pitch. I ain't sticking around for a game though. If some random guy says, want to play 40K, I'm saying no. If he says, I create my own game, it's like this, but way better, I'm listening. So.
Warmonger sounds cool. I'm interested in watching someone play or get a demo or something at some point.
Cool. Let's plan for a Grognard game, or at least maybe do a video thing. I've never done that whole like camera business above, but I don't know. It's a different take on things because I
think it's hard to have fun in a game if you're filming it.
but I also don't think I don't watch a lot of battle reports.
Oh, I hate them.
But there's never going to be one I'll watch from that angle. It's like an under the balls porn for me. I'm never going to watch from that angle. So the ones I watch, I forgot the name of the channel, but he has some really awesome Star Wars Legion videos where he's getting down to model's eye view, and then he cuts to the dice being rolled. Then he cuts to the model where he moved it to and where he moved it from. So I don't actually watch him moving it. I just show boom, boom. And they're phenomenal. He made that for a video. He's not really, like you say, he's not enjoying himself.
Mm-hmm.
He might enjoy himself when he sees the subs start rolling in, but in that moment. Whereas if I'm playing it and I'm doing the over, and I'm never going to watch that. So I don't know. What do you think, Xtreme? If you were to watch, would you watch those?
I watched a lot of games when I was playing War Machine. A lot of War Machine channels are very good about filming games. They'll start with like the overhead, and then they'll have another like smaller window of the dice or tray. But then they'll also switch to like game or like model eye view type stuff. So it'll be a nice mix. And those were always really good.
Those are done with the purpose of showing, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean it's almost become part of the culture with that game because it's a competitive game and they're filmed. And a lot of times you'll have like people that aren't playing do commentary on the games,
Oh, wow.
like judging things. And they do, Privateer Press actually does like their top tables, and they'll have guys that work there do the commentary on them. And
commentary while they're playing or afterwards?
It's while they're playing, but they're far enough away that they can't, the people actually playing can't hear them.
I don't see any situation where I'd be down for any of that. Like,
I hear John Gruden's looking for work. Maybe you could do that.
Maybe I'll have him send me an email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll say, please delete this immediately after reading.
Please delete after reading. I played Tyler Scholes in Colorado in a Walking Dead game. He filmed it because he was doing a thing, and we had fun, but we were talking about what we were doing the whole time. So, and I don't know, that's just like, I think you have to either do one or the other.
Yeah. If you do it for fun, if it's supposed to be fun while you're playing, then that's different than if you're making a fun video to watch.
But then again, Xtreme, to your point, if those guys in that culture, that's how they have fun, maybe, right? If you have fun by filming it and still playing your same style, then go for it. I don't think I could ever do that. I'm also going to be like a little self-conscious about what I say and what I do in the game, knowing it's going to be under scrutiny later.
Cut down on the slurs a little bit.
Cut down, not remove altogether,
Right.
but yeah, cut down. I mean, I probably would do more like, probably not the old timey ones, maybe some new ones.
Yeah, come up with your own.
Oh yeah, that's great. 'Cause then no one will ever know.
Right.
Like, yeah, who those Canadians just walked in.
Oh, that's a known one.
But I'm talking about Canadians.
With a capital C, Canadians.
No, like people from Canada.
Right, that's capital C, Canadians.
What's the other one?
Lowercase c.
What does that mean?
I think it means Lithuanian.
Okay. You can say hello in Lithuanian by saying labas, by the way, fun fact. I know a phrase in every language pretty much.
I've got a stone.
Ευχαριστώ. Kata levantko liho elinika. I speak a little, I understand a little Greek. I think that's it. Anything else, fellas? Okay. I would recommend that you watch our older videos if you're into games, because those we talk about games, and now we don't talk as much about games, and maybe that'll change. Mike, do you think Godtear might get its own episode?
Probably not.
Okay, I was actually begging.
Hey, Ryan on.
Yeah, we'll get Ryan on here.
I
I
don't
the
know
ones that played it.
if you caught it, but I was begging for content. So I was hoping you'd say yes. Biran doesn't have any games. Xtreme? Stuffed Animal Day? I don't know.
The game that I've been spending a lot of time reading about and playing lately, but I don't know if we can squeeze in another episode on it.
Do you want to do a fumble episode, Xtreme?
Oh man,
mean,
I want to do it.
We have a Blood Bowl second season we can cover.
Oh yeah. With this, is it going to change your score?
I mean, there's things to talk about. I don't know if
Yeah,
it'll change.
there are. Xtreme, do you want to share the results of our fumble game on camera or no?
I don't care. Go for
What
it.
happened?
You guys actually played?
Yeah, we played last week.
Oh
Or,
shit.
well, no, when did we play?
I don't know. Was it late last week?
I think was it when?
Late last week.
Late last
Yeah, I think we played on Friday, and we played two brand new teams. I played the Imperial Nobles, and Xtreme played the Old World Alliance. We just happened to be matched up against each other. Just kind of randomly happened, which is kind of fun.
Like at every tournament you guys have ever played at. Oh look, we're at 6-2.
Pretty much. I brought the well, I guess we'll save it. We'll save all the details, but I will mention that I somehow got the victory.
There was one moment where I had a dwarf blocker throw 2 dice and got it both down, and I chose it real quick. And I forgot that he doesn't have block. Kind of weird.
And you said, what kind of dwarf blocker doesn't have block?
Right. Which it was a screw up because you have the option of choosing the brawler skill, but I just went straight to the both down because I'm so used to a dwarf blocker having block.
Yeah. And you realize you screwed up at that moment.
Yeah, I made several mistakes in the game, but yeah, I lost. I know.
Misclicks happen. I had one. So I didn't realize it was a 1 die when I thought it was 2 little icons there, but it wasn't.
I wouldn't say mine were misclicks. Mine were just straight up mistakes, bad decisions that I made.
You're better than this, Brian.
Well, fumble's pretty unforgiving too.
Yeah.
You know, in a real game, you're like, oh, you don't have brawler, like, oh yeah, or you don't have block.
In a real game, it's like it's pretty obvious. It's a 1 die block. I'm not going to do it now. People do that, right, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Now I know. Oh, I forgot the guy has guard. Now I'm not going to do it. Some people may not like it, but it happens all the time.
As long as you have rolled dice, it doesn't matter. But
There you go. Exactly. So yeah, maybe we'll do that. So follow Zlurpcast online on social media as Zlurpcast. Join the Facebook discussion at Zlurpcast discussion. Join the Zlurp Nation. Details in the description below. And buy some stuff at zlurpcast.net. And tune in next week and subscribe and tell your friends and tell your coworkers that you do nerdy things and you watch this. And they're like, let me see what you do because I'm a nerd. And then you're like, well, I'm not that kind of nerd. And then they
I like
watch
the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah. No, my kid likes Star Wars. I'm a nerd. Whatever. Fucking yeah, dude.
You saw that Iron Man's movie?
Yeah, I saw Iron Man. It's pretty cool, you know. And then he watches like, oh yeah, you're right, man. Don't ever talk to me again at work or else. And you're like, point taken. Can you please subscribe to my friends? All right, that's about it. We'll say bye now.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a 1.